Hello, this is Will from JourneyWallStreet.blogspot.com. I'm here for trade reviews for trades made on June 12th, 2012. So today is pretty similar to yesterday where I didn't really do much. I had a few ideas. It sort of worked, sort of didn't. But, I'm trying to take it slow. I'm learning some new plays. I'm trying to understand what's an A trade to me. And maybe in a couple of weeks I could go back to these trades and understand that I did not risk enough. This was my A trade. I shouldn't have been in tier 1. I should have been in tier 4 right off the bat. Or something along those lines is what I'm hoping for. But with that said, let's just go to the trades. So one of the first trades I was in Cores. Had earnings today, gapped up higher on the pre-market. I was really upset at this trade because I had a really great opportunity to get in, but I hesitated and I just missed it. So what I did was I expanded it to show the pre-market and how I gapped up higher. And initially I was looking for a bounce off the EMAs because I gapped up like crazy. There's a chance for more follow through. But once it did, but it didn't really touch the EMAs. It did here, but I didn't really want to get in on pre-market, but I just wanted to watch it. So I saw it go, and it failed the EMAs, and it tried to bounce off of the 21s. And right when it opened, it made this tailing bar against this EMA. So I was contemplating a short. I knew that my stop was going to be above 73, and I was eyeballing 65, and I was thinking, okay, if I short 65, my stop is going to be 75, so I'm risking 10 cents. And do I want to make this short? What's the target? What's the potential target? Is it going to bounce? And after all that talk to myself, boom, it went lower. Next bar came up, boom, it went lower, and the rest was history. So I kind of was paralysis by analysis. I know that the 65 was selling quite a bit on the tape as well. So, it would have been, of course, it's easy to say now, it would have been a great short, but at that time, there were still so many questions that I had. And sometimes, the risk was there, the play was there, I just got to trust my instincts next time. So anyhow, it started to continue to trade lower, and I did get involved down here on this kind of a pullback here. It tried to use it traded above the EMAs, and it came back and started to test it again. And I wanted to short below this, which was a 5-minute inside bar plus a pullback, plus using the EMAs as resistance. So I kind of like this trade. My problem was I didn't get filled where I wanted to get filled, which is kind of expected because this was a spready stock. And I wanted to short the 48 or 47 or somewhere around those areas, but I didn't get filled till the 35. So almost immediately I was kind of right out of my comfort zone. So because of that, I kept thinking, okay, what's my risk reward in this area? Do I continue to trade it as though I got in here? Because if it's here and my risk was actually my stop was above 75 still, about a little bit above this candle. Actually, this candle. So it was 80. My initial stop was 80. So I was okay with risking about $35 on this trade. But then now I'm down here, so all of a sudden this turned into a $45 trade, and that just threw me off. So if I'm risking 45, then I should be getting close to $1.50. But in reality, I just wanted to risk 30 to get like $1.20 or whatever. So I don't know. I was just really off on this trade, and I just ended up covering right at the whole number 40. It was bouncing off of there for quite a bit, and I said, screw it, I'll just get out. I was just out of my comfort zone. As you can see, it defended the the EMAs very nicely, and it didn't really get challenged until this bar right here. So worst case scenario, 38.68 if I were to, follow the rules of my trade. But these are the trades you look back on. A couple of missed opportunities and just a bad play, and ended up losing quite a bit of opportunity cost. But it is what it is, and you can only hope to get better and try to make these analysis faster and more efficiently in the future. My most successful trade was in PNC. So super weak off the open, and initially I was looking for a kind of a pullback play against the EMAs. So I really just I was looking at these three bars here, and the high of it was 55 or 54, so my stop was going to be 55. I wanted to offer as close to 50s as possible, so I offered 747 with a stop at 55, and I got filled. Then once it sorry, excuse me, I was looking at this bar. So once I got filled at 47 and it went up to 50, and I noticed that NYSE was holding the offer, kept selling. So I shorted at 50 as well. At that time I probably had 700 shares averaged in at 49 cents, and because I noticed the buyer at 50, that means that I can raise my stop to 51, or lower my stop to 51. So essentially I was risking 2 cents, and I was risking $14 on this trade, which was like half a tier. And eventually it worked, and then I took some sales, I took some covers down here, came back up, I took a little more kind of in the middle, and it came back to the 50. First it stopped me out because I guess there was a rogue print, because it didn't really jump above 50 at that time. So I got stopped out by a rogue print, and I shorted some more against the 50, and I covered super fast in the at 44, just to kind of make the trade and kind of reassess the situation. So I know all that was pretty wordy, but at this time I was looking like, okay, if it were to go, then it should just kind of fail. But if you look at these candles, they're all making little higher highs, higher lows. 1, 2, 3, 4 higher lows in the last, these are 13-minute bars, so that's an hour of higher lows. Because I was ready to short once it took out this low here. So you have to start thinking, okay, this might be super strong now, or has relative strength based on the action. So I started to at that time, when it retested the 50, I contemplated shorting it again, because I could just short it, cover down in the 30s or 40s again, and just make the 10-cent spread or whatever. But because it changed, the characteristics has changed in this stock, I decided against shorting the 50, and turned out to be a good idea, because usually what I'll do is I'll set a stop trigger, buy trigger for 51. So once it triggers 51, I'm going to do a market cover order and just fill me in at whatever best price possible. And I was watching the trade as it was happening, and the best price possible would have been like 63 cents. So what I thought was a 1 cent risk turned out to be like a 13-cent risk. So imagine what would have happened if, because I thought it was 1 cent, then I could get 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares 1 cent, that's only $10. But in reality, boom, that balloons to 100, and that would have been pretty terrible. From then on, I kind of gave up on PNC, even though it did offer some pretty nice opportunities to get long above the EMAs. on this kind of a test and catch and this area here. But after this trade, I was pretty much done. I did give Garmin a try, GRMN. So, pretty simple trade. It started to trade higher and pull into the EMAs, look, rising EMAs, pullback. Not quite a 3-bar pullback, but still qualifies as a pullback. And I got long about right there, and my plan was to get longer when it takes out the high. It sort of did, but I didn't set a trigger. I just wanted to buy it, so I good thing I didn't, because it eventually failed. My stop was below this little candle there, that one there. So I took a tier 1 loss on here, which I don't mind at all, because excuse me, because it's the setup, right? Relative strength off the open, pull back into EMAs, the first test, and you expect it to go from there if it was really a strong stock. But as you can see, it bounced off of the 21s before it came up a little, and I did not get involved there. So overall, three relatively light trades, but with a lot of thought behind all of it. So that's a step in the right direction. Next thing I need to do is just keep trading these trades and understanding what works for me, and what I consider an A+ trade or a B+ trade, and size myself accordingly, and maybe not hesitate to take some of these trades and kind of trust, not get flustered if I don't get the correct price, and kind of reanalyze the trade as I'm in it and understand this was still a hold. So that's about it. Tomorrow there's no real earnings or anything of note, so tomorrow is just going to be a whatever the market does and whatever is in play, whatever news happens in the pre-market, and whatever trade ideas alerts me to. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.